Is this called a telestrator? Is that the right word? What do you call this? Hi, this is Judd Apatow, writer, director, producer, and today we're going to break down some of the scenes from my massive canon.
No, Kelly Clarkson!
We're gonna have a baby together.
How would you do it?
Oh no, I'm poisoning you.
All right, I'll be using the John Madden telestrator to point some things out, and every time I lean over, you'll see that I am in fact going bald. This first scene is from the TV show Freaks and Geeks. It's an episode called Dead Dogs and Gym Teachers. This is based on when I was a kid. Most of my friends played sports, and I would go home, I guess lonely, and watch comedians on television like The Mike Douglas Show and Merv Griffin, because all normal kids watch Merv Griffin every single day. And one of the things I would do, probably to numb and comfort myself, was I would eat, that's right, Kraft cheese. I think the idea you're supposed to get is that this is what he does every day, which for me, probably just 3 to 5 days a week. So I was much cooler than him. So this is the meal that I would eat almost all the time. What is it? I'll tell you, because this is my recipe. It is Entenmann's cake. Chocolate with the chocolate. You got to do that. What else? You've got your grilled cheese and your milk. And how do you eat it? 1 bite of grilled cheese, 1 bite of cake. 1 bite of grilled cheese, 1 bite of cake. That's how you do it. This episode was all Who music. That's right. The entire episode was The Who. We thought, I wonder if they'll let us use their songs, and weirdly they said yes, so there were like 5 Who songs in this, and that was very meaningful to me, because as a kid I used to go down to the basement with my friend Gary Frank and Michael Strauss, and we would put Who songs on and we would lip sync them with a black and white camera and do it for hours, and we were just in bliss. So just the fact that The Who didn't tell us to screw off when we asked for their songs, I felt connected to The Who. I loved Quadrophenia, because Quadrophenia seemed to capture a lot of my teenage angst, and the song I'm One was always one of my favorites. It was about feeling like a geeky person that wasn't really understanding the culture, the fashion, and so this seemed appropriate for Bill.
Leaves start falling, come down is calling, loneliness starts sinking in.
So right there is my mentor. That's the great Gary Shandling. And he was one of the people I used to watch as a kid on the Dinah Shore show. And this was just my way of tipping my hat to him, because when I first got into comedy, he hired me to write the Grammys for him, and then later hired me to write on the Larry Sanders Show, and then allowed me to direct the Larry Sanders Show. So that was the first time I ever directed, and this episode here, I think, was the 3rd thing that I'd ever directed, and I had to ask Jake Kasdan, the director of Jumanji, for help. He was our producing director on the show, because Judd didn't know how to direct. So this is what we call joy, having camaraderie with a stranger, making you laugh. This is what comedy is all about. Escape, connection, laughing with food in your mouth, which, you know, is kind of disgusting, but you're alone and nobody can see it. The key to this scene is, how did I get Martin Starr to laugh? Everybody on the staff drew pictures of penises. I just kept holding up pictures of penises. I think the penises were of each person who worked on the show, so we tried to identify each person with what we thought their penis looked like, or maybe their face was on the penis. So he's not actually laughing at Gary Shandling. This is a scene that a lot of people talk about from the show, because I think you know, we all relate to feeling lonely as a kid and feeling excluded, and seeing Bill be so happy, and how we use TV as an escape was very moving for people. It was a big scene for me because it was so personal, and Jake Kasdan afterwards said, that's the most personal thing you've ever done, and that's the best thing you've ever done. And it really pointed the way for me to try to write more about my life and my feelings than I probably was before then in my career. So it changed a lot of things, this scene. This next scene is, I guess, the famous chest waxing scene from the 40-Year-Old Virgin.
This is your first time getting body waxed?
Yes, yes, it is.
Take off your shirt.
Okay.
Oh, we're gonna need more wax!
I'm staying. This is gonna be good.
This is an idea that Steve had. We were trying to think of ways that they would try to fix him up and make him look better. And we knew that that was kind of a generic idea that had been done in a zillion movies. And Steve said, maybe you should wax my chest and do it for real. It'll probably be funny if you really hurt me. And that was his commitment to the craft. I will point out that this young woman, whose name I do not remember right now, and I apologize, is a liar. That's right. She is a liar because she said that she was a professional waxer. And you know what? Maybe she had waxed once or twice, but I think she was just a great actress who said she could wax to get this gig and then really injured Steve. And you know what? I'm glad that she lied, and I'm glad she did. Because if she was better at waxing, this wouldn't have been as funny. I think these areas have been pre-waxed. I don't think this was the first time he was body waxed. Years later, I realized that I think Steve lied to me and said he had never done it before. Look at the arrangement of his hair. It all seems at the same length. I don't think that's a natural hair design. I think Steve is fully manscaped coming into this scene. So the idea here was, could we capture what was really happening in the moment? So we have like 5 cameras on this, maybe more, and there's no rehearsal. We just said, let's let it rip.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, you! Oh, I'm sorry. That's just your job.
This is also them trying not to laugh. So this is, you know, holding back laughter. And that didn't work that well. And we weren't sure exactly for Romany and Seth and Paul what their response would be. So these are the 3 reactions you get. Happiness, disgust. I think this you would say can't handle it from Romany. You've got your Sonic Youth shirt there. Also, keep in mind, fake tattoos. This isn't the era of Pete Davidson where people get the real ones.
Okay, you know what? I got a weak stomach. That's all I can really take. All right, I'll see y'all.
Jay?
Be tough, Andy. You got it.
She is too close to the nipple. That's very dangerous. He almost lost a nipple there. And notice this. That is real hair. So everything you're going to see going forward is improvised. The only thing that's really written are the curses. I had Seth write out tons of curses and then another list which was clean words that could be said during this. And we would just yell them out to Steve, or he would look at the list.
Ready?
Yep.
1, 2.
You pulled on 2! Why did you pull on 3?
Sweetie Pie-Hole! ¿Cómo se llama? No! Kelly Clarkson!
Kelly Clarkson was on the clean list. This is all based on going to Action Park as a kid, and kids would go down these little cars, down these cement tracks, and they would always get hurt and shave their skin off on the track, and then they would spray disinfectant on it at the nurse's office, and every single person cursed out the nurse. So this was based on that observation. Paul realized that it looked like a face, and so that is when Paul improvised.
You look like a man-o'-lantern.
Which was the joke of the day. And then that's all real hair. No production design, no set dressing. That nipple, you're really not supposed to go over the nipple. That nipple is lucky. Some people have scenes that will define their careers. The end of Casablanca, the end of Citizen Kane, and I know on my dying day, this is an in memoriam clip. And I've learned to live with that. So this is from Knocked Up. This is the morning after. Seth and Katherine make love. And now they're having an awkward breakfast with the whole family. This is Iris. That is Maude. And this is basically her audition for Euphoria. I think Sam Levinson saw this, and then he said, one day in the great distant future, I'm gonna have her create a play and destroy everyone's lives. I believe she may even be strapped into the chair, because how we would shoot it is we would just lock them in the chair, usually after not feeding them for most of the day, so that they would want to stay there to eat because they were so hungry. See, this is real hunger. And all the food is unhealthy. And then this usually leads to like a massive crash. So you have to get the whole scene really fast before the tears begin.
I love it.
You guys want to hear something neat? We're gonna have a baby together.
What?
Yeah, baby.
Well, you're not married. Aren't you supposed to be married to have a baby?
You don't have to be.
But they should be, because they love each other, and people who love each other get married and have babies.
The amazing Leslie Mann. And this house, a beautiful house on the west side in LA. And after this movie, we bought a house that looked just like it 8 houses away. Because we are demented and don't know the difference between reality and cinema.
Well, I think a stork, he drops it down, and then a hole goes in your body, and there's blood everywhere coming out of your head, and then you push your belly button, and then your butt falls off, and then you hold your butt, and you have to dig, and you'll find a little baby.
Now this is all improv. So you gotta say, for a 9-year-old, maybe 8 at that time, pretty good, because we didn't feed any of that. And I'm pretty sure she believes you dig till to this day. This is how she thinks babies were born. This is a scene in This Is 40 where they go to a hotel to get away from the kids, and suddenly they get along perfectly.
See, you know what I love about us? You can still surprise me. I figured for sure you'd knock me out with one fell swoop of poison, but you would extend it over a series of months.
So this is a scene that a lot of people talk about because they both talk about murdering each other. This is something that came out during rehearsals that we thought maybe it's too far and no one talks about this or thinks these things. And then this became one of the most popular scenes in the movie because what we found out is that everyone has a plan to murder their spouse.
Poison you. I poison your cupcakes that you pretend not to eat every day and just put like enough in to just slowly weaken you.
I love it.
Now I have to say, this is Leslie's real plan, but she can't do it anymore because now I know. Now I know it's the plan.
How would you do it?
Wood chipper.
A wood chipper?
Yeah.
A wood chipper.
That's a Fargo-inspired murder, and you know that's a more violent kind of murder. I think that Leslie's idea, you know, it's gentle, it takes time, maybe it shows a little more compassion while murdering, but Paul's idea is a straight wood chipper. He doesn't even say if she'd be unconscious when put in the wood chipper. So I'd have to say that that's really messed up. So this is a scene from The Bubble, which is my new movie that's going to be on Netflix till the day you die. It does not go away. I've been told. It exists in a digital space till the end of time. Basically, during the pandemic, I didn't know what I could do to be helpful to other people, and I realized the only thing that I have to offer is to make a really stupid movie. And that's apparently what we did.
I just want to say, I am so lucky to be able to work with a cast this talented. This is your car. And I'm going to step in and take the wheel. Now, this driver's going to be a little crazy. Going to head towards the railing a couple times. I might even hit the railing. Some of you might not even survive. But I've got the end of the road in my sight.
What this scene is about is they're about to shoot a movie, they're in the bubble, they have hope that it'll be a great movie. And the truth is that most movies turn out to be shit. And no matter how hard you work or how much you try, it usually doesn't work out. So Fred's character here, he does not realize that everything is about to fall apart.
Our director,
Darren Eigen!
Thank you.
Fred Armisen. So he's, you know, kind of a Sundance-winning director. You know, a lot of times someone wins Sundance with a movie that they made that costs like $1 million, and then they get a Marvel movie with a $100 million budget, and they're in a little bit over their heads. You know, right here we got David Duchovny, you know, from the X-Files, and he's in a relationship with Leslie in the movie. They're like a couple like Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton who breaks up and gets back together all the time. Right there, you got Keegan-Michael Key. He plays kind of a superstar that may have started his own religion, but that doesn't really happen, does it? Right here, you've got Iris. That is my daughter, who plays a TikTok star who has tons of followers and has been forced in the movie, even though she doesn't know how to act because she has so many followers. And I can't imagine that ever happens. And then right here, you've got the great Galen Hopper, who plays, you know, kind of her creepy friend. We don't know what she's up to. She's up to trouble. And this is Leslie again. And right there is the great Guz Khan, and also the wonderful Peter Serafinowicz. And these are two of the funniest people that I've ever got to work with. According to Guz, we are going to work together for the rest of our lives. He's my new Leonardo DiCaprio. And I guess I'm Scorsese in that equation. But maybe he meant Leonardo DiCaprio and James Cameron. I'll ask him later. Thank you very much, Vanity Fair, for letting me show you how the sausage is made. I hope you all enjoyed it, and for you film students out there, I hope this has influenced your work and helps you in your careers for the rest of your lives.